Yo. So today's episode of the Shooting Star Press podcast is brought to you by Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is your source for unlimited streaming of movies and TV shows anywhere, anytime. You also get all kinds of cool things like free shipping on Prime stuff and thousands of items for $10 off your first order with free 2-hour delivery and all kinds of other things. Ryan Cloud, you like anything on Amazon Prime?
I like HBO. Is that on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, you can get the HBO channel on Amazon Prime. Well, and you know what you should check out once you download Amazon Prime, or once you get Amazon Prime and check out the Amazon channels? HBO has Central Intelligence. Central Intelligence is that movie with The Rock. That's basically all I've heard about it, is it's that movie with The Rock when everybody talks about it. It basically follows a kid who was once bullied in school, who grew up to become a lethal CIA agent, which is The Rock, of course. And he coming home to his high school reunion. Ryan Cloud, were you bullied in high school?
No.
Well, I bet you were the bully.
No.
Well, I know I wasn't a bully in high school, and if anybody says otherwise, well, they won't be saying otherwise for long. So that's what you should check out this week on Amazon Prime. Ryan Cloud, play me in. Welcome everybody to the Shooting Star Press, your source for the latest in wrestling news. Welcome everybody, welcome. I'd like to introduce myself. That's me, I'm Lee, and I'm here to drop some truths on you. That's right. And I'm accompanied by the man who would like to be known as the ace that runs the podcast space. That's right. You know him. You love him. His name is Ryan, the Ryan Cloud.
You know?
Yup. So, what's good, Ryan Cloud?
Pretty much everything, like I always say. So,
I believe you this week.
On the road, man.
I believe you this week. There's all kinds of things.
All kinds.
And this week, I'm not afraid of being fired because of Peyton Royce. So we're all good.
Everything in life is great.
But, speaking of what are we thinking about this week? What are we going to talk about this week?
Well, I guess to start things off here, anybody that's kind of been following our Twitter page knows that I've been teasing a little bit about a special podcast that will be hitting our YouTube page here soon. Should we tell them who the guest is? Should we tell them?
Is it Michael Cole? Everybody loves Michael Cole.
I tried to get him, but he just seems so busy and everything, so he just can't do it.
I know. It's JBL, probably.
Nope. Just because he's JBL. So don't.
I mean, he was probably more busy than Michael Cole.
We know what he was doing.
You get what I was saying.
I got you.
So, without any further ado, or no more gilding the lily, who was it? Who did you hang out with?
Well, over the telephone, I got the opportunity, thanks to my day job, to interview the one, the only, DDP, Mr. Diamond Dallas Page.
That's right. It's DDP.
Exactly. And that podcast will drop after this one, more than likely. I don't want to put a date on it. Just keep your eyes on our Twitter page so you can be one of the first people to hear it when it comes out.
Okay.
And on that note, I guess we can jump right into the show now.
All right. I like it. So I see here that this week is not WWE week. This week is what?
this weekend we are stepping right into the Impact Zone.
Taking it home to Nashville. Well, Orlando, but Nashville, kind of.
Well, I don't know how much longer we're going to be taking it to Nashville or Orlando, because it looks like we're seeing a fire sale going on over in TNA.
Oh yeah. I mean, there is a bunch of releases going on. We both know that TNA was recently bought out from Dixie, and it's now owned by a company called Anthem Sports. And I'm not sure what's going on over there. The Pope, the wrestling Pope, he's been dropping all kinds of hints about big changes coming, and Josh Matthews seems to be in the dark about everything, because every time the Pope says something, Josh Matthews is like, "Whoa, what's that? I didn't hear that." So it's really interesting, and I'm not sure what's going on over there, but I think people that are in the know have an idea, and they might be fleeing. Who all has been listed as fleeing?
Well, just in the past week or 2 weeks or so, we've lost the first big name that TNA lost was Drew Galloway.
That's unfortunate.
Then,
I really like him.
Probably the biggest one of the ones we're about to mention, the Hardy Boys failed to renegotiate their contract.
Golly.
And then the most recent being the Miracle and Maria Kanellis. They have also jumped ship. So I'm not sure if TNA are basically forcing these superstars to release as a way of cutting their expenses, or if these guys knew, or these guys saw what was coming and is like, I'm out.
So I'm not sure about what's going on over there, but it's really interesting. They've also signed a couple big-ish names as well, with Burnett coming in, which is really good. And but some of the people they've also recently signed are also going to other feds to fight as well. So it's not just they're not exclusive to TNA. It could be that the people are fleeing, as I said earlier. I'm not sure if they're being forced out. I don't know why they would want to force out the Hardy Boys, but forcing out, and I couldn't see them wanting to force out Maria Kanellis or Mike Bennett, because both of them have been in pretty big integral storylines to what's been going on at TNA, and to drop them while they have this big push going on seems really strange. So I have a feeling it's more on the end of the talent versus the end of their management. One of the good things, though, is that the Hardy Boys, Brother Nero and Broken Matt, they both said that they're not going to stop their quest for gold. And while checking out Ring of Honor, there was a ad for the continuation of the quest for gold to hold all of the tag team trophies in the world, to go and fight the Young Bucks on April 1st, which that's going to be a really good match. And if I get to see the Hardys fight the Young Bucks out of this, it's going to be sad for TNA, but I'm all for it because I enjoy both the Hardys and the Young Bucks, and this will be amazing. I mean, Galloway is also supposed to be going to defend his WCPW title on this coming Monday. I think it's this coming Monday. So that'll be a good fight too. But I'm not sure where Mike Bennett or Maria Kanellis are going to go, because Maria Kanellis did not leave WWE on good terms at all, even though she is probably one of the better women's division people in a while that has left, that has been made to leave after a dispute with the Bellas. Probably one of the better ones to leave WWE in a while, and that's going to be unfortunate for her to leave a bigger Fed. They might go to Ring of Honor. I'm not sure where they'll go, though. I mean, any speculation?
I don't have any speculation on Maria or Mike Bennett. They're probably out of the trio that we just mentioned, man. They're probably the ones who this hurts the most because, like you said, Maria's not going back to WWE. I mean, that's just not while the Bellas are there, and I don't know how long they're going to last there. And even if the Bellas left, I don't necessarily see her going back to the WWE. So her and Mike Bennett, which they've kind of ran a trail through some of the indie promotions already before ending up in TNA. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them continue that and just kind of make a living off of that. Now, the Hardy Boys are probably in the best situation coming out of this because their name speaks for its, by itself.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, they can go anywhere, and we'll most likely end up back in the WWE. So,
yeah, eventually.
This doesn't hurt them at all. I don't think it hurts Drew Galloway either because I'm sure the WWE's clamoring just to have him back after seeing kind of how he has grown since that time, since his previous run in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hardys and Galloway are going to do fine. Maria, Mike Bennett, not so sure. But like you said, with these releases, this opens up, at least temporarily, new opportunities to see some great matches, whether it be the Hardy Boys and the Young Bucks or, Galloway in a different feud, maybe somewhere on ROH. But it is kind of, I guess you could say, it's kind of weird to see TNA allow at least two of their top stars and you could argue that Mike Bennett was a potential top star eventually on TNA. It's just weird to see.
I'd put him up there.
You put him up there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just interesting to see those 3 or 4 big names. I guess it'd technically be 5 big names just being released like that. But I have seen some different reports, unconfirmed reports, let me throw that out there, unconfirmed reports that TNA may also be chasing Rey Mysterio again. I don't know if they're trying to open up some, I'm going to call it cap space, even though I know they don't have cap space. Open up some
budget space.
Yeah, some budget space to sign a name like Rey Mysterio. I don't think you would want to cut that many people just to get a Rey Mysterio, who I do love. But you're cutting out a large portion of your roster just to get that one big name, and he's on the older side, which, I mean, I know that doesn't necessarily matter, but that would not seem like a good business decision to me.
It's not best for business. I don't think for anyway. He's kind of small, and kind of smaller guys don't work very well. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard that, but I mean, I could see them. I wouldn't be cutting those people though. I mean, they might be the biggest contracts, but I couldn't see Rey Mysterio's contract being more than the Hardys, both of them.
Yeah.
Or I couldn't see his contract being. I could see his contract being about the size of what Galloway's is if we were comparing people, because Galloway's a big-ish name, and he has been in WWE. Well, all of these people have been in WWE, and all have been big-ish names. I mean, the Hardys have been a very big name, but the other 3 have been big-ish names. So I couldn't see Rey Mysterio's contract being much more than Galloway's or much more than Maria Kanellis's. I wouldn't say he's probably more than Bennett's, but I couldn't see it being more than Kanellis's or Galloway's. So it's just, I don't see it. I don't think it's Anthem cutting them, but I have a feeling that we'll find out in the next week. Come Thursday when the new owners appear on TV for the first time, according to what the Wrestling Pope said, Matthews was taken aback and wasn't sure what he was talking about. But the Pope said that we'll find out all the changes that are coming on Thursday. So that's going to be something to probably watch.
Yeah, because there has to be some kind of, explanation behind all of this. You don't just lose this many big names without either management firing them or, I guess you could say, releasing them. Or, these guys have realized that maybe TNA is an unsavable ship. Maybe it's just the Titanic. Maybe at this point, this is where the boat's kind of like lifting in the air and kind of comes back together for a second right before it breaks apart. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
But,
it's that scene in the Titanic before it splits in half.
Exactly. And I don't know. I don't think TNA, besides their financial woes, I mean, the product isn't bad at all. The on-screen product isn't bad at all. This is all issues with mismanagement of money.
It's poor management by Dixie Carter. I mean, no matter how many fanfics I wrote about her, she doesn't know how to handle her money.
Yeah, and if you can't, I don't even want to know.
Don't worry about
it. And if you can't manage your money, especially in this business, with WWE reigning king and bringing, stealing most of the revenue, you're going to sink no matter what your on-screen product is. Right now, TNA's on-screen product is probably, I'm not going to say it's the best that it's been, because I remember the glory years, where the X division was, the division to watch.
Man, you all about that X division.
The X division, man, that's during a time where everyone was doing the same thing when trying to compete with the WWE. The X division was what made people, tune in to TNA, those weekly pay-per-views before they got the TV deal. And, I mean, now you can't do a copycat product of the WWE and win. At least not if you're in the Americas. I mean, it's just not going to work. But I'm digressing a little bit. This, like I said, their on-screen product right now is great. And if it wasn't for this money issue, I could see them still being a key competitor in this business. And, I mean, they brought in Josh Burnett, which we're about to talk about. And just bringing him in also draws in a crowd of mixed martial arts fans, thus creating that crossover that could really help them in the long run.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, you tend to be a mixed martial arts fan. But if you're a mixed martial arts fan, you don't tend to be a wrestling fan. And that baffles me. But the fact that he is coming in, I mean, he's been wrestling for a couple years over in Japan. I mean, that's kind of the way you get to here, is you go to Japan for a little bit. But a lot of people, they're going to want to see that. They're going to want to see the fights between Burnett and Lashley. Dude, I mean, that was amazing, this fight. But I'll touch on that in a second. So let me speculate real quick. So we know that WWE has been like jockeying to buy TNA, but not actually buy TNA. They want to buy rights in TNA for the NWA library, which TNA owns. Owns a portion of. And then TNA, after the split, all of their library, because it's got people that have been in WWE that they want to be able to use footage from their matches from before they were in WWE. I noticed in a AJ Styles promo that he had a short haircut from like when he was Ric Flair's protege in TNA. And I could have swore I saw Ric Flair in the background, but it was just a short clip of something. It wasn't like if you blinked, you would have missed it type of thing. And there was something of a Samoa Joe in a blue ring, which I don't think Samoa Joe has been in a blue ring yet on WWE. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I'll hear it in the comments because that's how comments go. But I don't think he's been in a blue ring yet in WWE. But I could have swore I saw something from a package where he was in a blue ring, and we all know TNA is it's a blue program. So I don't know, maybe Anthem, maybe WWE is going to show up at this Anthem thing. I highly doubt that WWE has anything to do with this at all. But there's always that weird chance that somehow, some way, Vince McMahon has paid off something to do with Anthem, and then we're going to start seeing TNA stuff in WWE, and then we'll start seeing a handful of WWE things on Fight Network, which I highly doubt as well, because Fight Network, WWE Network, I doubt they would play well together. But that's just me speculating, and I don't know, maybe Ed Noldum of Anthem will come in and be as crazy as a bag of rabid squirrels like Vince McMahon is. I don't know. We'll just have to wait till Thursday to find out.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if, Vince may have convinced someone in this new ownership to allow him to, I guess, buy a portion of the AJ Styles or Samoa Joe videos, possibly, just to use, like you said, for video packages and whatnot. I don't think that would be out of the realm of possibility, that getting by without anyone knowing about it, because it wouldn't be a really big sale or a big purchase, however you want to word it. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I don't know if there's going to be a bigger
acquisition.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to necessarily be a bigger acquisition. If TNA starts to fall again, don't get me wrong, I think Vince will be the first one to come in and step on their necks. But
nope, I'm gonna buy it.
Oh, you're gonna buy it?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I got
money, man.
I got it's TNA. It's like $5. I got fan fiction about that too. Don't worry about it.
Touche. I might buy it if it wasn't for all those Maryville college loans.
I paid mine off.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you pay yours off?
January 1st. Paid them all off.
Dang. I got like I got like I'm $64,000 in debt, man.
Dude, I was.
You gonna have to explain to me what you did to get rid of those. But right now we are on live on our podcast. Well, kind of.
I mean, I got, no matter how many wrestling scholarships that I got that I didn't get to wrestle for because they got rid of the wrestling team. I had some magic. Don't worry about it. Maybe I robbed a bank. Don't worry about it.
Man. Anyways, on that note, speaking of robbing banks, what about that Josh Burnett Bobby Lashley match?
Speaking of real shoot wrestling, like I just said, they actually did get to do it in college, unlike me. That match, man. Wow, that was something to see. Dude, that I got no words for it other than wow. Like, on my little notepad here, I wrote down Barnett Lashley. Then I just wrote wow. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check this match out, dude, you are missing out. This is probably one of the matches to watch this week. I have a feeling it's probably going to be one of our matches to watch this week, or to have watched this week. So, dude, let me know what you're thinking about this match.
I don't know if Barnett is pulling those kicks, but it sure doesn't look like it when I was watching it. I mean, it was, like you said, it was just wow. Just how well these two work together in the ring. And to my knowledge, they've never fought in MMA.
I think they might have fought once, but I don't think it was for anything, and I think it might have been, I don't think it was like a major show or anything.
Okay, they may have done that, but these two guys' chemistry in the ring was phenomenal. And, I mean, just like you said, just the shoot wrestling aspect of it, just watching the two with their transitions, I mean, it felt like I was watching a merge between, which I guess I was, actual MMA and wrestling, and I was taken aback by it. So. Oh
yeah, man. This was, like I said, match to watch this week. Call it. Put a pin in it right there. Match to watch this week. When we get to that section, I'm just gonna say, hey, bring it back. Just rewind this and re-listen to the front part. Dude, it was the thing to watch. And I don't know if he's working hard style or if he's just, I mean, because he's been in Japan for the past year or so, running around getting his being smartened up to the business. But I'm not sure if he's working hard style or if he's just because he's an MMA fighter, everything looks so good. And like recently there have been people going on podcasts saying how real punches don't look all that good compared to worked punches. But either way, dude, if he's working or if he's shooting on them, he looks good. Both of them look good in this match, and it really, really is the match to watch this past week. I need to stop saying that because I have a feeling that it's going to start getting annoying if I keep talking about it. So we should probably move on.
All right, like I said, I agree with you. Match of the week to watch. We'll bring it back up when it comes that time. Maybe we might just tell you to just listen. But
yeah, just rewind it.
So I guess from that point we can move over to the WWE, and this week is basically all about Fastlane. I mean, another pay-per-view. It feels like we just had a pay-per-view. I mean, it's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point. Not gonna lie. But yeah, Raw this week was it was a setup for Fastlane coming on Sunday. And I mean, I guess to start things off with Raw, we could just talk about the evolution of Kevin Owens. I mean, him coming out, confronting Goldberg, just kind of looking smooth while doing it.
Dude, and I like my heels in suits.
I do too. I do too. I mean, it makes him look just like a assassin. It makes him look
makes him look like a sexy beast, just like me.
Well, you know, there are opinions out there, but I mean, we hear Goldberg come out and talk about how, you know, the best thing Kevin Owens does is talk.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Kevin Owens is a good talker, and that's not a negative. I mean,
but I'd rather see him punch somebody.
I mean, his promos, and this promo in particular, was just straight fire. I mean, he came out, and I just stopped and listened to every word he said, and in the process, you know, just these little just jabs at Goldberg as he's going along, and I was like, okay, Kevin Owens, I see you, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, he feels like when they went through all the people he's beat, it feels like he's basically giving one of Goldberg's promos from the 90s when he came in and beat everybody in WCW. It feels like that, except a heel version of Goldberg promo from the 90s. And I really liked that dichotomy. Like that big word there?
Oh.
Makes me feel like one of those fancy heels, like a Jericho.
Oh, fancy.
Who talks
fancy, huh?
Exactly, I am. But yeah, dude, I wasn't all that excited for this match, but at the same time, I'm the past week after the spotlight and after this promo, I'm actually really interested. Which I guess that's the best. That's the best thing you want from a pre-pay-per-view show. I mean, there wasn't very much on this show other than that made me want. It spiked my interest.
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg is next, and not next just because of some little silly catchphrase. He's next in the evolution of Kevin Owens, and and I mean that line right there, I was just it got me ready for, like you said, it got me ready for the match. And probably the most impressive thing about all of this is this match has built without either of them even laying a finger on each other prior to it.
Yeah, there's whoever's writing this storyline, whoever's booking these matches, and whoever's doing all of the things with Goldberg, all of the things with Jericho, all of the things with Kevin Owens, and to an extent, the Sami Zayn, the Samoa Joe, and I guess you can include Roman Reigns into this, and well, basically all of the major people are all entangled in this storyline too, and it's all being written really well, which is surprising, especially for Raw, since Raw's been not the best. This one storyline that's running through all of your major players is actually pretty good if you step back and not if you're not watching show to show, but you step back and are thinking about how everything's playing out. This is actually really good. Only problem is you got to get people to want to watch the individual shows instead of just thinking about the storyline.
Yeah, you definitely want everybody to tune in for each individual show, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to have great storylines to go along with it. But
oh yeah, you need it.
Absolutely, but there is that negative point which you kind of hit on just for a split second, that for this to be a pay-per-view Raw, there wasn't really a lot that was going on. There were some decent matches, and it was more of a story building Raw than an action-packed Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't necessarily bad, but there were a lot of promos, and if you're not into the storyline building aspect of the business, it might not tickle your fancy.
Yeah, you know what did tickle my fancy though?
What tickled your fancy?
Well, my fan fiction. No, not that. That Oscar joke. Did you get that Oscar joke? That was hilarious.
Trying to remember this Oscar joke.
The Oscar joke that the New Day did?
Yes. That was well played, WWE. Well played.
The only thing was, Big E said, "I didn't write this," under his breath, and that was funny. It was even funnier. But, because he said he was going to take the shine off the shining stars. It was...
I didn't write this.
It was comedy. And then him not meaning to, burying his own joke was even funnier. But yeah, I mean, it was really good. And the other thing that was funny about this whole thing was they keep trying to make Jinder Mahal Hard Body Mahal, and none of them are remembering to say it. They'll say Jinder, I mean Hard Body Mahal, and they can't remember to. It seems like they can't remember to call him Hard Body Mahal. And it's because why?
It's because he's not important.
That's true. And you can't tell me he is not on some kind of juice. I mean, there's no way that he's passing their next piss test. There's no way he's not. There's no way he's passing that. Something is going on. I mean, look at a picture of him now, and look at a picture of him like when he was part of the 3-man band or what it was.
Yeah.
Look at a picture of him now versus what he looked like when he was in the 3-man band. That is, something's up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he would do it just for his gimmick's sake, but I never take it away from anybody, and I don't think anybody's really going to miss him if he is suspended for 30 days or a month, or, like I guess 30 days is a month, so.
Yeah.
But, semantics.
Unless it's February.
Unless it's February. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he is. And I'm not going to miss him when he's gone.
It's gonna be like the guys from Ascension.
Yeah, I mean, he's just bringing down Rusev. I mean, Rusev is probably one of the most underutilized heels there is on Raw, and it's kind of disappointing seeing him teamed up with Jinder Mahal. My bad. Hard Body Mahal. I'm not saying that again.
Handsome Rusev.
I'll say Handsome Rusev. That doesn't bother me.
Handsome Rusev and Hard Body Mahal. Man, I don't know. It's the only reason why they're together. The only thing that is their reason for them to be together is that they're not American. That's their only thing. And it's not like they're not American the same way that the League of Legends, the League of Nations is not American, which that something about that felt right. This just feels like we don't know what to do with these two, and the only thing that we can think of is they're not American. But we're not going to talk about it, but that's basically the only reason.
Pretty much.
And it feels like they just brought him back. They brought him back to be enhancement talent, and they're like, well, we got to do something else with him, I guess. We need to fill this spot. And, yeah, he's just filling a spot. He's a seat filler. Yeah. For Drew Galloway.
We can only hope. We can only hope that Drew Galloway makes his way back. But, yeah, I just hate seeing Rusev being brought down because he has the talent to be a top-notch heel. I mean, maybe not along the lines of a Samoa Joe or Kevin Owens, but for a secondary title or even a tag team title, if he had the right partner, he has the talent to be placed way higher on the card than teaming with Jinder Mahal in a essentially throwaway match.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the popcorn match of the night, which was pretty early for a popcorn match, but
get hungry quick. What can I say?
It happens. You gotta stop. You gotta get off that grass, brah. But putting him. Don't worry about it. He's fallen so far from showing up to WrestleMania in a tank to this. It makes me sad. Rusev Mudria, Rusev Machka, or whatever it is.
Insert Russian phrase here.
Exactly.
Which is probably fake Russian, but anyway.
No, it's Bulgarian.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's Bulgarian, that's right.
I looked it up. It's like Rusev. It's Rusev Crush. It's Rusev something, Rusev Crush, and he's basically the Hulk. He's the Bulgarian Hulk. That's his thing.
And they should treat him that way. Honestly, I mean, in all seriousness, they should treat him that way. I mean, when he first showed up, and he had this big long winning streak going, or undefeated streak, I guess you could say, because he lost some by DQ and count out and yada yada yada. But
Yeah.
of course, we did see he did get buried by John Cena, and then the wheels just fell off.
Well, that happens. It's
a lot.
That's how old Cena works.
Well, at least
occasionally.
that's how he used to work. He's growing up a little bit. He's grown a little bit since then.
Yeah.
Even though that was like 2 years ago, but I digress.
Yeah. I mean, you can grow a lot in a year. I'm hoping to lose a lot in a year because I don't like where I'm going. I'm up there at the same level that Rusev is, and I don't like being that level. I was a lean, mean 205. I want to get back to that.
Well, you saw me in college. How I was. I was pretty stout. Now I'm pretty not. So.
Hey, we're going in opposite directions. That's what happens when you sit at a desk all day. Oh my God.
Yes, but we digress. Moving on. What did you think about the Seth Rollins promo? I mean, him coming back, kind of apologizing about breaking up the Shield without apologizing of breaking up the Shield, and Triple H finally coming out and
say it's not his fault. It's Triple H's fault. It was best for business. Really, it was best for business.
Well, you gotta own what you gotta do, man.
I mean, he can't help it.
But what do you think about all of this?
I thought that he looked dumb walking on a cane or on a thing. What are they called? A crutch. I felt that he looked dumb walking on his crutch, and when he's done a work walk on a crutch, he looks better. And when he looks stupid walking on a crutch, that's how you know he's actually been hurt, because he was actually hurt. So that the only other thing that I really had about it was how the crowd had to hijack his heartfelt-ish apology. I don't know if I'd call it apology, but his heartfelt words with chanting CM Punk. That was, that hurt me.
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why. I understand the crowd is upset that
dicks.
that CM Punk's gone, but I mean, my God, CM Punk left. What? We were probably in college when CM Punk left.
Yeah, it was like our senior year or something.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, you can get over it by now. I mean, that doesn't help. For one thing, that makes you look like a fucking douche. If you're doing that, just enjoy the show. I mean, these chants, it's not going to make CM Punk come back. He's just not coming back.
I don't think that's the point of it anymore. The point of it's to be a dick.
Exactly.
And when I go to an ROH show, I'm not sitting there chanting like CM Punk or American Dragon or Daniel Bryan or anything like that. I'm not going there to steal a show. I'm not going there to get in the face of some guy who's out there trying to do his job. I've been to a few indie shows, and that's what happens. And it's harder for somebody to do that like a WWE show, but if you get enough people doing it, it will happen. I mean, that's what this CM Punk chant is. It's them trying to take over the show, and it is bothersome. That's the best way to put it.
It is. It's annoying. I mean, I don't necessarily mind, if you share your disappointment with, let's say Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. If you want to boo that, that's fine, because that's in the moment,
Yeah, booing's fine.
That's fine. But when you're trying to hijack a show, especially during this kind of segment, it does nothing. It just stop. Just stop.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I really have to say about that. But you did just touch on Roman Reigns. Did you notice all the cheers Roman was getting out of that match that he had with Brrr!
You mean the signing?
Well, whatever it was.
You know, it's one of those violent signings that we're getting used to.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to not call it a match. The segment that he had with... But, dude, he was getting all of the cheers. That was so weird.
I don't know. Apparently Braun Strowman is such a great, such a good heel that the fans are finally kind of feeling
Warming.
Yeah, warm. I mean, and I guess this is really the first time in a while that the WWE has allowed Roman Reigns to look vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time he eventually hulks out and gets the job done, and the past few weeks he's not been able to crack the Braun Strowman code.
Yep.
Literally. I mean, he keeps punching him in the face, and it just isn't working anymore.
Maybe he should hit him with a code breaker.
I don't know if Roman Reigns knows how to do a code breaker.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Not necessarily his style.
It doesn't have anything to do with football, so he probably can't do it. Or Superman. Dude, one of the weird things, though, shouldn't this contract have already been signed? Like, shouldn't it have been signed when they called the match?
That's what I've been saying.
I mean, that's how they do it that's how they normally do it. That's how they do it in UFC. That's how they do it in all of the other things. Maybe this is to lead up to how they keep saying Mick Foley's incompetent. Mick Foley forgot to get them to sign the contract when he made the match.
Poor Mick Foley.
I mean, and then what's her face? Old big angry lady. You know who I'm talking about.
Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah, that girl. She was saying that Mick Foley was retired by Triple H on in this same arena on that same night back in 2006 or 7. That doesn't sound right to me. I'm pretty sure he had several matches after that supposed last match with Triple H. I mean, I think he fought for a title in WWE, something like 19 or 20 matches, and one of those was for a title, and one of those he beat JBL in 2 minutes or something, which is amazing. And then he went over to TNA and fought. So I'm not sure where she's getting this Triple H retired him thing that she was talking about. But they're really burying Mick. They are really burying Mick Foley.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall at this point that he's not going to be here after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like I said, though, I'm not overly upset about it, but I really hope that the blogosphere has got this wrong, and I really hope that it's not Kurt Angle replacing him as GM.
I don't like that.
I hate that idea. I mean, Kurt Angle needs to be brought back as a wrestler or a manager. He does not need to be brought back as a GM where it's just a waste of his talent.
He doesn't really need to be in a position of power. He needs to be. I've heard some more stuff about that. We can cover that later in our rumors section. But I've heard some more developing stuff about that, and it might be something. I don't know, but I don't know. The one thing that I've noticed with this was, Mick Foley's still such a good talker. The problem, and he's being his foil right now in the management versus talent thing is not a very good talker. And he's country strong and all that stuff, but he's not a very good talker. I want Mick Foley to warm up to Braun Strowman, and I want Braun Strowman to warm up to Mick Foley. And if we're going to see Mick Foley removed from his position of power, I want him to become a manager of Braun Strowman. I'd like to see that. That's probably not where they're going to go with it, but Braun Strowman needs somebody to talk and play off with. He needs a mouthpiece, in my opinion.
He needs a Paul Heyman.
Yeah. He needs an advocate, a manager, a mouthpiece. I mean, even a valet. I mean, there's not any of the valets that are very good on the mic, or not many of the women in the women's division that are good on the mic right now that are good enough to be a manager / valet role. But I could see somebody. He needs somebody to fill that position for him. Breaking him away from Bray, who was actually really good on the mic, might not have been the best idea, but it is forcing him to talk. But at the same time, he still needs somebody to play off of.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I actually kind of feel like breaking him away from Bray was a good idea for his career a little bit, because it allowed him to transition over to, instead of a creepy monster heel, he's just a straight up monster heel now. He doesn't really have to do anything extra to try and be creepy. He could just be a freaking
big dude,
boss, and do what he does. But he needs someone to talk for him right now, because he's, his 4-word vocabulary just isn't necessarily cutting it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if Mick's the answer. I don't know who the answer is. I don't know who could really fill in that type of managerial spot for him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Mick Foley isn't who I would want to put with him if I were picking anybody, but I don't want to see Mick Foley leave. And that would be a good place for him to fill into, is where I'm coming at.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What'd you think about that spot at the end? He busted Roman Reigns through the turnbuckle. And I don't mean like a normal just throwing him into the turnbuckle. I mean, the turnbuckle broke.
It's just another one of those great story building spots. I mean, it just shows how strong he is and how much of a monster he is, and it continues to build toward this story that Roman Reigns just isn't strong enough to take him down. I mean, week after week we've seen Roman Reigns just getting manhandled by him in a way, and I think this was a perfect spot for that to happen, especially right before Fastlane.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know a stagehand's probably been sacked for that. He didn't hook it up right. That's what they're gonna say if he works for a staging company that was trying to get rid of him. I saw that happen at a WWE show once when I was working the show. Something that seemed like it had been planned, but they used it the staging company used it as a reason to let go of the guy that set up that thing incorrectly. So it was interesting to see, and that spot, I don't know, it warmed the cockles of my cold dead heart. But dude, you're talking about a legit boss. I don't know if I would call Braun Strowman a legit boss, but you know who I would call a legit boss?
Who would you call a legit boss?
Charlotte, not Sasha.
You're a terrible person. Just terrible.
She's queen.
Terrible.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
Going Charles Barkley. That's just terrible.
I'm going 16-year-old girl. But dude, Charlotte is so good as a heel.
Jeez.
I mean, you get a chance to see any of the Bayley, Nia Jax, Charlotte Sasha 4-way tag, all of the stuff match.
All of the stuff. What the hell was going on? I don't know, but I'm gonna just roll with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, that match, it was good. I mean, it was good. I mean, it definitely continues to show how strong Charlotte is. I mean, Charlotte is definitely her father's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the way she works in the ring, the way she uses heel tactics in the ring, it's just priceless. And I think this match was just another way to show that. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked how Nia Jax was brought up into this. This makes her look really good, and also includes her into this story versus how she's just kind of been on the outskirts of the story,
Right.
but not really being part of it. This brought her into it, and it makes this storyline even better to watch. I don't know. Before the show, I had told you that the women's division on Raw is probably one of the best things going on in wrestling right now, and I will stand by that.
I agree. I mean, when you have you got, first of all, let's just count them off. You got Charlotte, you got Sasha, you got Bayley, you got Nia. What else do you need? I mean, for a women's division, you have
Dixie Carter.
No, we don't need. I don't know what your obsession is with Dixie Carter, but I mean, Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte are all just. They are probably the best in the women's division in the world. I'll call it. I'll say that they're probably the 3 top performers. Bayley maybe not necessarily top 3, but Charlotte and Sasha are definitely top 2 performers in the world when it comes to the women's division.
Yes.
I mean, especially when it comes to storytelling, and I hate to admit it, but Charlotte might be the best.
Oh yeah.
She's the best at what she does.
Yes. I mean, you can definitely see her heritage. When they say she's genetically superior, it's hard to argue with that, especially with the performance she puts out. I mean, look what's going on right now. It's hard to deny it. But man, it was really a really good match. I don't want to see the match at Fastlane though, because
Bayley Charlotte match or the Nia Sasha.
Bayley Charlotte. I don't want to see that at Fastlane because I don't want Charlotte to lose on a pay-per-view, which I know I'm kind of backpedaling from last week, but I don't really want to see her lose on a pay-per-view, but I don't want her to win the title back this quick. If you see where I'm coming from? I mean, I don't like it.
I definitely get what you're saying. That was kind of my thought on it last week, or not last week, but I guess it was 2 weeks ago when she lost the title on Raw, because I knew automatically that either one of 2 things were going to happen. Either we weren't going to see a women's title match at Fastlane, or we were going to see Charlotte win the title back at Fastlane. And you just don't want to keep switching the titles on and off like that. I mean,
yeah,
I get it. Are you aware that if she wins this, she's a 4-time women's champion already?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Oh, that's probably over the course of a year?
Yeah, something like that.
A year and a half, and she's already won the title.
7 months. Because it's the Raw women's title, so it's 7 months.
And she's already won the title like 4 times. I mean,
Yeah.
while I get that builds her character up to where she can say, I'm a 4-time Raw Women's Champ, but it kind of waters down the belt when you switch it that many times. I mean, just ask WCW how that worked out.
I mean, that's the reason why, it's one of the reasons why Ric Flair is like the 22-time champion. Well, 16-time or 18-time, or depending on who you ask, the amount of time champion. I mean, maybe she's hoping to, like, do that kind of thing. I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't want to see her at Fastlane. Maybe we'll see Sasha come in and champion's advantage. That means Bayley won't be able to lose the belt, but Charlotte could still win the match. We could see something. We might see something like that. So Charlotte would still go undefeated at pay-per-views, but the belt would not change hands. I mean, that's the only way I could see this going right now, currently. I mean, I reserve the right to change my mind up until the pin happens.
Gotta get your bases covered. Gotta have your bases covered.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only way I can see this match going, and we'll get into it when we start doing our predictions. But a screwy finish is the only way that you can save both Bayley as champion and Charlotte as undefeated at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and then she'll have like a slightly asterisked victory type of thing, like half of her dad's wins. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, it wasn't all that interesting.
What wasn't all that interesting?
I think it was called the Irish Connection. Titus O'Neil and Sheamus O'Shaughnessy. Did you get any of this?
Man, I don't know. It's Titus O'Neil.
And how is he? I mean, we're gonna start the Irish Connection because my name is O'Neil and your name is O'Shaughnessy. It's Irish, see? How is Titus O'Neil Irish?
I mean, I guess if you want to get technical, he could be, but he's not. I mean,
I'm so confused by this. I mean, so was Sheamus because he like beat him down. That was like a quick match. I blinked and it was done. But I mean, it was a good match though. Dude, Titus O'Neil, there was aggression in Titus O'Neil that I don't think I've ever seen in him, which was great. I mean, he got beat in like a minute, but at the same time, the aggression in that minute was there, and it makes me want to see more Titus O'Neil. But we all know that Titus O'Neil is not always he's not in the best graces with management.
no, shouldn't have grabbed Vince, even if it was just a grab.
I mean, I don't know. All I know is I don't know. I want to see more Titus, but that's not gonna happen.
No.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, we got Fastlane coming up, and they also announced Extreme Rules, which is coming up, and Extreme Rules is a Raw pay-per-view, but with the people on Raw, I don't want to see Extreme Rules as a Raw pay-per-view. I'd rather see that as a SmackDown pay-per-view because of the people on SmackDown. How do you feel about that?
I'm not surprised that would end up being the Raw pay-per-view, but like you said, I can't really think of anybody on Raw that I want to see in an Extreme Rules match.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess your titles can be used on that, but I want to see like a Dean Ambrose or someone like that in an Extreme Rules match. But it's what we get. I'm sure they'll figure something out for this C-level pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can give it a B because there will be weapons. But
I mean, it makes sense that it's Mick Foley. Mick Foley's the GM, all that stuff.
won't be then.
He won't be by then though. But it makes sense for that because that's Mick Foley.
Yeah.
He could have been like, I want this one when they were making their meetings, and not realize that he was going to be separated by then, if things are to be believed. So I don't know. The only people I could think of that would be good in an Extreme Rules is a Samoa Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Which that would be amazing. He would be great in an Extreme Rules match, but I can't really think of anybody else that I would want to see in that. I would much rather see an Ambrose, or somehow they bring up somebody from NXT, like, the Predator, Eric Young. That would be great. Or we remember some of these old matches that Cena had that were not necessarily an Extreme Rules match, but some of the craziest matches, one of the bloodiest matches ever. That's an Extreme Rules stuff, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, Cena is good in Extreme Rules matches. I mean, Cena's good in every match that he does. As much as most people hate to admit it, it's true. Or like AJ Styles was in Japan for so long. Japan is known for Extreme Rules craziness. So I could see that, or basically anybody that's on SmackDown dominating in Extreme Rules, except for maybe The Miz, because The Miz doesn't do those kind of matches.
Yeah, that's definitely not in the Miz's warehouse.
Well, yeah, but you know what is in the Miz's warehouse?
What is that?
Audible.com.
What?
Man, Audible.com. I'm sure he loves Audible.com. It takes they're always traveling, they're always doing the things. I'm sure he's in love with Audible.com, just like I am, just like you probably aren't because you don't like books. But Audible.com is the place for the people on the go who can't read, don't get a chance to read.
Like you.
You don't. Yeah, I can't read. You don't read, but it's one of those things that helps you get things done. You can do all kinds of things when you're not while you're reading a book. So it's makes things a whole lot easier. So yeah, I mean it's a great thing. And if you want to sign up with our Audible link down below in the description, check it out. Since we're on the idea of hardcore matches, Extreme Rules, what I'm going to tell you that you should probably check out this week is the Audible book, Terry Funk, More Than Just Hardcore. It's available on Audible.com. And basically, Terry Funk, he's been a fixture in professional wrestling for 5 decades. He helped introduce hardcore wrestling style that you see in the WWE and in Japan today. He's made his mark in Hollywood, and he's Terry Funk. And this is just his story. The book is a captivating look at the life of a living legend. And Funk opens up about growing up in a wrestling family, working with various entertainment companies, including ECW, WWE, and WWF, and many more. It's a great read, and it's available for free at audible.com. Check out the link in the description below. But anyway, back to what I was saying about Miz. Do you like The Miz?
Yeah.
Man, you know who doesn't like The Miz?
Everybody?
Not me. I love The Miz. But John Cena hates The Miz.
Hates The Miz.
So did you see Miz TV?
I always watch Miz TV.
See, you like Miz TV. You like The Miz. You're lying. You're lying. Always lying. Lying.
Why would I do that? I always tell the truth. I can watch something and not necessarily like the main character.
Well, that sounds like you just punishing yourself. Sounds like you're
Maybe I
like
like the
Terry
story.
Funk.
Maybe
You're
I
like
the
Terry
story.
Funk. Okay, whatever. You
Maybe I'm
can't.
just hoping the main character dies at some point. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not saying I want
Well,
the Miz to die. I'm
that's
not.
mean.
I'm not saying that.
That's
I'm
mean.
just using it as an analogy as to the
I
reason
mean,
why. You know
that's
what?
mean.
Screw that. Go on with the next segment.
That's mean. You know what else is mean?
John Cena.
I mean, I thought you liked John Cena just now.
I
But
never said that I like John Cena. I didn't say I liked anybody. I'm just pointing out the facts.
But you know what else is mean? Nikki Bella. Good God. Nikki Bella is the Brock Lesnar of the women's division, according to what we just saw. Dude, it was nuts. She ran out to the thing after Maurice slapped John Cena, and it was like somebody had just murdered her entire family, and then she went crazy and ran to the ring. She went crazy and ran to the ring like the Ultimate Warrior, or like Brock Lesnar. The way they were talking about it, like she was going to destroy everything. Like she was the destroyer of worlds, the eater of souls, all of that craziness. And The Miz and Maurice, they ran away.
That's what they do.
The Miz also uses Maurice as a shield, and because he knows that John Cena, he knows that in WWE land, men don't hit women. It's a good thing that this is WWE and not Ring of Honor or TNA or Lucha Underground or CMLL or AAA or insert
all of the other things.
Any other Fed, because they like believe in equality. And this is just not equality.
Oh. Inequality. Can't believe it. Donald Trump. What?
But dude, I'm really interested to see this match that they've made. John Cena says he can't make matches, so we'll get onto that later. He says he can't make matches, otherwise he'd be fighting the Undertaker and not talking to the Miz. But I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this goes. It's not much of a thing, but it is enough to be interesting. Every time the Miz is in a storyline so far, it's been pretty good. So I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Miz is always good in his storylines. I'm not gonna hate on that because he has been basically the only true decent heel on SmackDown. When I say true, I'm talking about that actually gets heat.
Yeah. For all the reasons Cena said.
Pretty much. And the fact that we're going to see this mixed tag match on next week on SmackDown, basically shatters the idea that we're going to see that happening at WrestleMania. So I'm kind of surprised a little bit that
it feels like they're giving away a dollar match for free.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to see this match at WrestleMania. Did not want to see it. But it does make me wonder, where is this going? Because it's surely not going to be just a 3-week thing. I mean, I'm sure next week isn't going to be the end of it. So where does it go from here? Because, I mean, at this point, I feel like SmackDown should be, which they have been, but for this feud particularly, should be building up to something at WrestleMania. And you just gave away the mixed tag match. You're giving it away for free. So do we see just a straight up Miz John Cena match at WrestleMania?
I mean, I wouldn't be against that. I mean, it's I don't know, maybe we see something bigger, something more than just a singles match, some kind of gimmick match of some sort. I mean, I don't know, both of them would be good in a gimmick match. I mean, I'm not sure what the gimmick would be, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. It breaks up some of the monotony that's been kind of going on between everybody. It makes everything a little lighter. That's the best way to say it. A little lighter. Because you've got everything is not just between Styles, Wyatt, and well, this is kind of bringing all of the storylines together in a way like I was talking about Raw has been doing, which is it's great, and I see this springboarding to something else, and not necessarily just being a singles match between them. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get you. I don't know. It just, for me, it'll be interesting to see how all this pans out. I feel like there needs to be something bigger on the line when it comes to WrestleMania time. Maybe you're right, and this does grow into something much bigger. And I mean, and personally, I hope it does, because these are two talented guys. They need to be fighting for something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe Pride is necessarily that thing. But, you know.
That's why Pride left. Nobody watches Pride no more.
Nope. Just gone. Like the wind.
Yep. It's horrible. Horrible. I mean, I enjoyed watching Pride matches. They were great, but it went away.
You know what else went away?
I don't know what.
The Wyatt Compound.
Wow, just jumping into it. That was horrible. I knew it. I called it last week that they were gonna turn Orton. I just didn't expect it to happen this quickly.
I just called you Scoop Lee.
Scoop Lee
with the scoop.
I sound like a Christian rapper.
But yeah, I'll give you another credit. You know, you called it. You said they were going to turn him, and boy, did they do it quick.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen until after WrestleMania. It feels like they're giving this away way too soon.
Too soon.
It feels like he should have let him get the title and hold it, and then after WrestleMania, turn him. That's how I would have done it. And I don't know if I would have done it by burning down the house. Burning down the house. Ooh. But I mean, it made, instead of making Bray look like the heel in this whole thing, which is what he's supposed to be, as far as I can tell what he's supposed to be, he was in the middle of the ring crying. That's not how you make your heel look good.
No.
That's how you make a face. It's how you bring a face down to their lowest level before they leave the fight for a few months, come back stronger than ever, and destroy everybody. But you can't do that leading up to WrestleMania. So I don't know what's going on here. This just feels like they've played their hand way too soon.
Yeah, I mean, that should have been a after SmackDown, or SmackDown after WrestleMania type of thing. I mean, you wouldn't want to do that at WrestleMania. You wouldn't want to turn him at WrestleMania because that's too predictable.
Yeah.
But I mean, wow, the timing just feels so strange. I mean,
yeah,
like 2 weeks after you give up your Royal Rumble WrestleMania spot, you turn. I mean, that defies any kind of logic, because now you've given up your title shot that you could have fought Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania for nothing. I mean, because he said this was all part of the plan. This was all, this was all in the cards. So why not just keep your Royal Rumble spot if you want to fight him, or wait until after WrestleMania to do it. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, and it kind of also brings the question what's going to happen, with the result of the Luke Harper AJ Styles match, because now it just kind of feels like all roads are leading to possibly Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and I don't know how we're going to get there. The road just got really curvy and rocky, and you're going to need a 4-wheel drive to get over it.
Sounds like we're going to Roadblock. No.
And, I mean, the road just to get Randy Orton to fight Bray Wyatt just got a lot more difficult when it didn't have to.
Yeah. Man, it makes me feel like AJ, because later on, AJ, well, before the burning down of the house, AJ and Harper, AJ won.
Twice.
And twice. He did win twice. And so he won contendership. So then it feels like Orton is just, he's all of a sudden jealous that AJ is going to get the chance to fight instead of Luke Harper. And I don't know, it just feels like he is jealous of AJ, but it takes planning to go from, instead of going to Minneapolis, or no, not Minneapolis, they're in St. Paul. There was some rumblings on Squared Circle about that, I think. But instead of going to Minneapolis / St. Paul / the Twin Cities or whatever they're called, instead of going there, to go to Louisiana. So, I don't know, maybe he was sitting at the house watching the TV, seeing what would happen between AJ and Harper, and if AJ won, he was going to spring this trap, or if Harper won, he was going to let it play out. And I don't know, it comes off as his being petty because it's not playing out the way he wanted it to play out.
I don't know. It's just, and like the odd man out in all this is poor Luke Harper. I mean, Luke Harper went from potentially fighting Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, then he lost to AJ Styles, so you would think, okay, they're going to continue this Luke Harper-Randy Orton feud. And then Randy Orton burns down a compound, and Luke Harper's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Because Randy Orton's going to be fighting Bray Wyatt. So Luke Harper's just left out in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all going to turn out to how the match is going to be. I think it's next week between Orton and AJ. They made the match over Twitter, I think, earlier on Friday. I think that was what they did. It was either Friday or Thursday. They made the match over Twitter. They confirmed it, at least, that there was going to be a match between AJ and Orton. So it really just depends on how that goes. And I think I see a Orton Wyatt match.
I tell you what,
going. Yeah.
Better not make that match for the #1 contendership. Better not do it.
Or what? The AJ Orton match?
Yes.
It is for the #1. I'm pretty sure it is for the #1 contendership.
Why make the road that much more difficult? And all this just so we can have Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles and Shane McMahon. Because AJ's going to lose his stuff. Because he had another title shot. He still hasn't gotten his one-on-one rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's going to have his title match at WrestleMania taken away. And he's just going to...
He's going to leave.
He's going to leave. He's going
to go back to Japan. He's like, I'm taking my bullets and my club and going back to Japan. And he's going to take Gallows and Anderson with him.
I don't know. Gallows and Anderson might actually come away with the title this week. Oh, wait, I lied. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of
Big Cass.
I'm thinking of Big Cass and Enzo, and yeah. So, yeah, the Bullet Club may just leave. I would at this point. Everybody's been made a fool of but AJ.
I mean, he's being made a fool of currently.
Yeah, he's getting made. This was all a trap. They were going to let the Bullet Club or the club get all this momentum and then just tear them down single-handedly along the way.
Yeah, I mean, like what they did with the Wyatt family. I mean, this McMahon knows how to do that. I don't know. There was somebody, one of the Hardys tweeted out about how they're going to fight Gallows and Anderson for the title eventually. So I don't know if they know something or if they are just speculating the same way that we're speculating. I have a feeling it's the latter instead of the former. But I don't know. I don't know where this goes, and I don't necessarily want it to be happening currently. Like, I want it to happen in a month from now, or in a month and a half from now. Not today. I don't want it.
It's kind of like what you were talking about, how the WWE doesn't necessarily like to do slow burns anymore.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily like the build. And I think this is just another example of they kind of did, because the whole Orton, Luke Harper, the Orton Wyatt family thing lasted for a while. But, continue to play your cards right, because what could have happened is much better than what has just happened, with still so much time left before WrestleMania.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty much all there is to say about that. I mean, it shouldn't have been going on right now, but it wasn't the way they're doing it. And burning down a house it's a good way to get heat. I mean,
it's a good way to get a felony.
That's true too. But it's in the backwoods of Louisiana. Ain't nobody gonna find that house. But I mean, it's like when they drove through Triple H's house, or when Vince McMahon's Corvette was covered in concrete, or any of those other extreme things. I would be fine with him burning down the house, but that's this has been building for, was it a month and a half or so, or something like that? That's kind of a long storyline for what's going on now, but those penultimate destructive things that have happened in the past have happened after a much longer storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine for them to burn down the house, just not yet. So, I don't know. I kind of want to see this lead into somebody becoming Sister Abigail.
Well, didn't it say something about that, like, Sister Abigail was, like, buried below the house or something like that?
Yeah, that's the story, is the house is built over her grave.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe this leads to burning down the house has released her soul, and the soul comes out and takes over one of the women's division people that we haven't seen active in a while.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't really seen any kind of storyline like that in a while.
Yeah, no.
And I don't know. I don't know if today's wrestling world would take to that too well. I mean, they're taking well to Bray Wyatt being the eater of worlds, but the reason of a soul, I don't know.
But you can believe somebody's a crazy cult leader.
True.
You can't necessarily believe that there's ghosts. I mean, some people do. I mean, I'm chilling with Casper right now, but I mean, he's sitting here eating popcorn, but it don't matter. We don't know. I would like to see that storyline. It'd be great, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it goes with Bray Wyatt believing that the soul has been escaped the fire, and then he recruits one of the women in the women's division that hasn't been around in a while to the Wyatt family, and then slowly indoctrinates her into believing she's Sister Abigail. I mean, that would be a lot. That'd be a lot more telling than her being possessed. And it's a really interesting story. She slowly develops Stockholm syndrome. Stops speaking with an Australian accent. Stops waving her arms in the air, gets the Lena off the back of her name. I don't know. Actually, I wouldn't like to. I don't want to see her be it. But I don't think she would do it very well. But I mean, there's a few women on the roster that aren't being utilized that I would like that could probably do it. I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are a few. Or if they could bring somebody up. So I mean, it'd be an interesting storyline.
Yeah. But speaking of the women's division, what did you think about Mickie James, Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch beating Mickie James? I mean, it was kind of a short match.
It was a short match. It was a very short match.
Yeah. Forced to be 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked the athleticism in the match. I'm tired of these matches, though. I mean,
exactly.
I enjoy the matches when they're going on, but I don't want to see them fight anymore. I just want to see them hug and make up and be friends again.
It's definitely worn out its welcome at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're both really good, though.
They are, but you can only have the same 2 people fight each other every week so long before it just becomes old. I mean, both of these women need to move on. I know there's not a lot on SmackDown to move on to. I mean, we're kind of seeing this Natalya, Alexa Bliss thing kind of starting.
Yeah.
But with
Natty picking fights.
Yeah, but with Nikki Bella otherwise involved and Naomi out, that leaves Becky, that leaves Mickie, and that leaves nobody else if Alexa and Natalya start something.
Yeah.
The SmackDown's women's division is almost the exact opposite of the Raw women's division.
It's so thin.
It is. I mean, there's not a lot there.
And everybody, well, I was going to say everybody, not 3 of them are very proficient, really, really good fighters. Mickie and
Becky.
Yeah. Mickie, Becky, and Natalya. They're all 3 of them are really, really good. And Nikki has gotten so much better. I wouldn't put her in the same caliber as the of those 3, but she's gotten so much better than she's ever been, and she's really good too, but not on the same level as those. I just have a hard time saying that Alexa Bliss is really good. She's okay, but I don't know if I want to put her anywhere else. I mean, we've also got Carmella.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
But I mean, she's involved with this Nikki Bella and John Cena thing too. I don't know. I don't know. Women's division's a mess.
Maybe we'll see a little special call up after WrestleMania join in the form of Asuka. That would be a nice talent to have on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, Asuka would be great. Yeah, Asuka. I could see Asuka coming up, or I mean, I wouldn't mind a Peyton Royce or a Billie Kay coming up. Both of them would be good, but at the same time,
They need to stick in the NXT right now because you talk about bare. That place is bare. That place has great talent, but everybody, especially in the women's division on NXT, everybody's so raw. I mean, once Asuka leaves,
we're not talking about Raw. We're talking about SmackDown.
I hate you. Once Asuka leaves, I mean that leaves like Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Ember Moon, and maybe Liv Morgan. She's still a little raw for me, but
what about the Scottish girl?
The fact that I cannot remember her name.
Yeah.
Basically, and the girl from Sanity.
That's the same girl.
Oh, one and the same? Yeah, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I don't know. She just feels like a bad ripoff of Rosemary from Decay on TNA.
Sanity within itself is a bad ripoff of Decay.
That's true, but I mean, everybody, I don't know. Eric Young was from TNA. I guess he just wanted to make a faction in NXT or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to go. All I know is that the women's division on SmackDown is way too thin, and I don't know. Not so much you can do with. There's not so much you can do with it. I mean, other than look at Becky Lynch's large, amazing thighs. Speaking of thin. See, that was better than what I was going to say. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where it goes. That's pretty much it. NXT, though? Did you enjoy any of NXT? Since we were talking about NXT.
Actually...
That's about how I feel about NXT.
I was about to say, actually, if you want me to be honest, the tag team matches, or the tag team match.
DIY, AOA, and the Revival, or DIY and AOA?
Yeah, it's a little crappy finish. I don't know what this means for DIY. I'm not sure if that means they're going to stick in NXT for a while, or what. I don't know. The tag team division is... The Revival's the best thing that's happening in there. DIY is great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think?
The only thing I wrote down was NXT, DIY, AOA, Revival. That's all I wrote down for NXT.
I mean, that's all you got to know.
And I like Ciampa and Gargano. Yeah. And I like the Revival. The Revival. I like those two teams. I don't like the Authors of Pain, or Authors of...
You're right.
Yeah, Authors of Pain. I don't like them. I don't like them. Sorry, all of the internet. But they just don't appeal to me. DIY and Revival, though, they're great. And I wish they had a better heel team. But it's not that they're a bad heel team. It's just that they're so green currently. And, I mean, they'll get better with time. I don't see any of them getting called up. DIY or Revival I could see being on the way up, but I don't see either of them getting called up currently. I mean, the tag team scene is way too stacked right now with nothing going on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Authors of Pain, I'm not going to say that I hate them. They are really green and they were pushed really fast.
Yeah, I don't hate them. Yeah,
they were pushed really fast. I mean, Ciampa and Gargano, they perform every time they come out. And the Revival's just that great old school heel team. And, I mean, you have those three, and you got TM61. I mean, they're all, decent tag teams. But, like you said, it's hard to see any of them getting called up anytime soon. If I did pick one, it would be the Revival.
Mm-hmm.
But they all need to spend a little bit more time in NXT. Especially with NXT already kind of... They're feeling the brunt of some of the exits that's left over the past year, whether it be Samoa Joe or they are kind of bleeding a little bit for star power right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially with Shinsuke on the bench.
Yeah. I mean, what happens. That's why WWE's afraid of the long storylines recently, according to what most people say. It's because of people going on the bench and all kinds of stuff, people coming and going. But, I mean, you just gotta deal with it. And the way that the whole tag team scene as a whole is being presented is just, there's just too much things going on, but not enough things going on. And that's all I really have to say about that, if you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. But also in NXT, I mean, we saw Asuka retain. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, no. She's going to win. That's how she does. She goes out, she wins. Then she puts her little mask on and walks away.
I mean, she's probably, outside of Shinsuke, the biggest thing they got going for them in NXT.
Definitely.
And it's always going to be this constant revolving door when it comes to NXT. I'm not sure if people realize that, because there's only so many. I mean, the best stars are going to get called up.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be some, at least marginal period where there's just not that a lot of star power.
That's the problem. Like, if you watch minor league baseball, you get going. You're like, yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win the title. Yeah. And then when you start winning, then the Milwaukee Brewers start calling up all your Nashville Sounds, and then you lose. So, I mean, that's how it works. I don't know. Sorry, I occasionally watch minor league baseball. It's kind of a shame for me. I don't know.
It should be a shame. It's terrible. Just terrible.
I'm not a crazy Canadian that we used to live with.
Oh God, let's not talk about that. Who actually got married, and never mind. But yeah, there's always going to be a slow period when it comes to NXT. Right now is an example.
It's developmental.
Yeah, I mean, right now that is an exact example of that. I mean, you're not always going to have a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens or Samoa Joe or a Shinsuke, who will probably be called up soon. You're not going to always have that. And as long as they continue doing what they do, I don't think fans are going to get upset. But right now is definitely a time where stars are, there's not a lot of star power there right now. Even with Bobby Roode, I mean, he has to grow on people.
Yeah. I mean, I love me some Bobby Roode, and I love me some Eric Young. Both of them are really, really good, but I don't think the NXT audience has taken to them as much as I think they will. I mean, people do like Bobby Roode, but I think that I don't think they're where they need to be with him just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I like Bobby Roode, and I've always liked Eric Young. I mean, when Eric Young's crazy is when Eric Young's at his best. But
yes,
these two haven't necessarily made the splash I think that WWE wanted them to. I know that they were probably hoping Bobby Roode would be that next star power guy, but he's just he will. I feel like I just took a trip through the warp zone, but that's cool. He will eventually. Bobby Roode will do better on the main roster, I would say. But I tell you what, if anyone else gets caught up before Ty Dillinger, I think people are going to start rioting.
I probably. Because his whole tin chant, you hear that every so often, even on the regular, even on the main roster. So, yeah. I mean, they say they're always saying that people that are on NXT, their gimmick won't be able to carry over to the main roster, and that not enough people that are casual fans watch it. But with the chants you hear, some of them are NXT chants. That they say that's the reason why Emma didn't get over. But I think they've moved past that. I feel like they have moved past where they're saying they were to them having crossover success from NXT to WWE. So I don't know. I don't know. But speaking of developmental, I don't know if you ever get a chance to see any of ROH, Ring of Honor, but they do something that I really like. And they had the first match in this thing that I really like. It's the Top Prospect Tournament. They do a lot of tournaments over there on Ring of Honor. And Top Prospect Tournament is a tournament to see whoever wins gets a contract with Ring of Honor. And they did the first match with a guy named Skyler fighting a guy named Carr. And it was... I don't know if I would say go watch this match. It's not one that you need to seek out. But because it was awfully fast for what it was trying to accomplish, which they show their ability that they can hit spots like that, but it was just way too fast. But Skyler looked good. How do you feel about those kind of tournaments like this? You think this would be a better way for WWE to do this, or I don't know? What do you think?
I think that I'm a big fan of tournaments. Just to say that, I think they definitely work a lot better in the smaller promotions. But I don't see any reason why the WWE doesn't have more. I mean, the King of the Ring tournament was a big hit until it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, UK tournament was a big hit too, and so was the Cruiserweight.
Yeah, the Cruiserweight tournament more so than anything.
Yeah.
Was just a massive hit, and I think that they should start doing, maybe not constantly, but once a year, just throw a tournament out there. I know that there's been talk of a potential women's tournament maybe this year, so who knows? I mean, maybe WWE is kind of trending that way.
I mean, Triple H seems to really like the stuff that's going on in the indie scene right now, with the way NXT is shot, the way NXT is presented, his whole I invented UK wrestling, and his whole I invented cruiserweights and all that stuff. So, I mean, I could see them go in that direction. And what do you think about them giving a contract to a person that wins? I mean, that was kind of what they were talking about doing with cruiserweights, but then they just invented a whole cruiserweight division. And that's what they said they were going to do with the UK tournament. And, I mean, they kind of did that. I mean, what about winning a contract? I mean, you think that could bring in some new blood?
Oh yeah. I think that would be, me personally, I think that would be a good idea if you just get a bunch of these, I guess, indie promotion guys in just one massive tournament, make it a special on the WWE Network, and the winner gets a contract.
Let's see with that though. You've got so many guys that are on the indie scene that don't want to be tied down to just one promotion.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could figure out who those guys are, and not necessarily. I mean, I know it's going to wipe out a bunch of people like Zack Sabre Jr. I know that was one of the things he didn't necessarily want to be tied down to one promotion because he's making a killing just
traveling about.
Yeah, touring the indie scene.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there with you. I wanna see more of it, and I want to see more of the ROH influence, more of the TNA influence, more of the larger indie fed influence in the WWE. They've also had another thing going on with their decade of excellence tournament that they had going on. And I don't know, the fallout from this decade of excellence tournament, there's been what seems like something going on with the team Addiction. Do you know the team Addiction?
I've heard of them, but I'm not overly familiar with them.
Christopher Daniels and Kazarian.
Okay, yeah. I know them.
So Addiction took on the Bullet Club, took on Adam Cole and the Hangman Adam Page, and Bullet Club won. And the fallout from this seemed like there was some dissension in Addiction. Kazarian did not defend the way it was presented, the way that their announcers talked about it. I mean, it's like Kazarian did not defend Daniels very well at all. They were basically putting it all on Kazarian as the reason why they lost. And I don't know if I'd put all the blame on him, but at the same time, it seemed like Addiction was falling apart, or is on the way to falling apart. Now, they've had problems like this before, so I might just be jumping the gun a bit. But with so many tag teams getting broken up in the past little bit on other major feds, I feel like maybe there's blood in the water, and I'm like a hungry shark or something. I want to see more of it, but maybe not. So I don't know. Bullet Club, though, it looked really good in this match. Another thing about Bullet Club, taking it back to some TNA, Cody Rhodes and Moose it came to a head. Did you see any of that?
I mean, like I said last week, what did you expect would happen when dude give girl his number, man?
I mean,
Don't do that.
I didn't expect the show to open with something that normally closes a show. Dude, that was crazy.
I mean, Cody Rhodes, he couldn't wait any longer, man. You don't do that, man.
Man, when you got bullets, you go moose hunting. That's how it works.
And he
from
went
Tennessee
with fists.
I like that Moose ran down all of his former gimmicks and all of the former gimmicks of his entire family. That was great. The other thing, in indie-ish news, Marty Scurll fought against Donovan Dijak, and Scurll is great. He is one of the few people who can get an umbrella over. You had Corey Graves saying how Jack Gallagher is the only person to ever get a umbrella over. And that's going to lead me into my question that I have for you, Rycloud. What do you think about what seems like WWE is watching these other federations, these other promotions, and it seems to be copying some of the stuff they got going on that works in there? I mean, it's been kind of rumbling since the final deletion. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we live in a generation right now that it doesn't necessarily, it's not a who did it first generation, it's a who done it best generation. I mean, with final deletion, it was clear that TNA way was ahead of the curve.
Much better than the thing they did with the Wyatts.
The Wyatts and the New Day. And I think for the most part, wrestling fans crushed them for that. But with some of these other things, whether it be the umbrella or the turnbuckle incident that happened in the Braun Strowman Roman Reigns, like little things like that, I believe the WWE can get away with jacking, so to say, without much backlash, because I don't really think you could judge who did this or that better, especially when it comes to an umbrella. But if you're going to do something major, like completely copy a segment, then you better do it. You better come on strong with that, or else the wrestling community is going to call you out. I mean, there will still be some that say, hey, you stole that from XYZ. But for the most part, if you do it great, it doesn't really matter who does it first. It's just who does it better.
I feel you. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But if we see a wedding on WWE in the next month, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna start throwing stuff, because that I hated that storyline on TNA, and I don't want to see it in WWE. Because all of those wedding storylines are stupid, except for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's wedding when he Bill Cosby'd her. Oh, that was mean. I shouldn't have said that.
Or what about Undertaker? Stephanie McMahon. That wasn't too bad. Minus the fact, she was about to get sacrificed, but
yeah. Or no, I don't want to see any more weddings on my show. I don't want to see Billy Ray. I don't want to see Dudley, Bubba Ray, Billy Ray, Billy. What was his name in TNA? Bully Ray. That's what I was trying to say. I don't want to see Bubba or Bully, any of the Ray Dudleys. I don't want to see them getting married to no Brooke Hogan. I don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see any of that. I want it to go away and go back to the actual story that most people tune in for. But yeah. So, what do you want to see this week, Ryan Cloud?
Well, I don't know what you want to see, but me personally, I want to see some Fastlane.
I want to see some tacos.
I want to see tacos in my belly, which I guess I can't really do because then that would be weird. But that's neither here nor there. I think that it's time for us to do, our Fastlane predictions. It feels like this is like the fourth pay-per-view prediction we've done in like 4 weeks, but yeah,
Fastlane. I don't think that's the intro at all. Fastlane.
Someone's getting slap happy. But all right,
I've been watching the whole Switch thing out with all the snaps for all the commercials. That's what happens.
All right, it looks like we're gonna have
Fire Pro Wrestling.
It looks like we're gonna have at least 8 matches at Fastlane. With who knows which one of these are going to be the pre-show, but I'll just start rambling them off, and I guess we'll really discuss only the ones I guess we view as big matches. Actually, looking at this card, there's some pretty decent matches on here, actually.
Yeah, they're all big matches. Let's start with the least important, probably Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa versus Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar.
Well, all I'm gonna say about that match is
I ain't gonna watch it.
Yeah, I probably won't. I will, but I won't, if you get what I'm saying. I'm gonna say, Rich Swann and Akira
Tozawa.
I'm gonna pick them just because in the world of 50-50 booking, usually the last person that gets the final blow will end up losing at the pay-per-view. So I'm just going to Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa.
I'm going to go opposite with you. I like Brian Kendrick. I like Brian Kendrick for this. Don't really care too much about Noam Dar, but I do like Brian Kendrick for this. And, dude, Akira Tozawa's suplex in the match this week, that was awesome. That was a great suplex. But that's pretty much all there is to say about that match. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, I'm good. I was going to say, I guess we can move on to Neville Jack Gallagher.
Yeah. Neville. I'm going with Neville.
Yeah, you're not going to take the belt off Neville at this point. He's kind of carrying the whole 205 Live, albeit with a, heel gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's carrying 205. I'm gonna say Neville.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Then I guess that brings us to Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe.
Now, this match, I believe this match has the potential to be a sleeper to steal the show. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe. I don't think, Sami Zayn's in a bad spot right here because him beating Samoa Joe would hurt Samoa Joe more than him losing would hurt him at this point.
Correct.
So I think Samoa Joe wins this one. It'll be a good match, but Samoa Joe's gonna put him to sleep.
Yeah, that's I see Zayn being choked out and about to tap, and somebody comes in and saves him because it makes, or Zayn passes out. Yeah, one of the two. So he loses, but he doesn't lose by giving up. And that's how I see that happening. I see Joe winning.
I'm right there with you. All right, I guess that brings us to Sasha Banks and Nia Jax.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. I want Nia Jax to win. I want her to get a ton of heat off of this. I want her to do basically I don't want her to put Sasha Banks on the shelf, but I want her to put Sasha Banks in, maybe have her just like have to be wheeled out. Not put her on the shelf, but like knock her out, do something. I want to see, that's where I see this going. I want to see Nia, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be wrong on this one, but Nia continues to be monster heel, and if she takes out Sasha again, that's what happens. But that would run the risk of possibly burying Sasha.
I'm gonna go opposite in this. I want Nia to win, and I want Nia to win, and I think Nia is gonna win. I don't think a loss here for Sasha, coming off an injury, I don't think a loss here for Sasha is going to necessarily bury her, and I think that they're going to kind of prolong this out to WrestleMania, because I don't really see either one of these women getting a title shot at WrestleMania, and
oh no,
they've got to do something with them. So I think if you have Nia win here, then you can extend that storyline out further. So
oh yeah,
I'm going to say that Nia is going to win, and we're going to see some kind of redemption match at WrestleMania, or in the lead up to WrestleMania, at least at some point.
What I want to see happen is I want Sasha and Nia to be fighting at WrestleMania. Snoop Dogg comes in, hits Nia with a chair. That'd be funny.
While smoking some weed.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'm high, man. I didn't know what was happening.
Exactly. That probably then brings us to the club, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows versus Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy.
Yeah, I'll preface this by sort of like how you did yours. I want the club to win, but I believe the smart money goes on Enzo and Big Cass right here. I mean, they've been on the outside looking in for so long, and you know they're still relatively hot, while not as hot as they were when they first showed up. But I think you strike it while it's hot here. You put the belts on Enzo and Cass. I'm not a fan of that decision if it happens, because I would much rather see the club being built up into these, you know, this great tag team instead of Enzo and Cass getting the titles. But at the same time, I'm not going to be overly disappointed if Enzo and Cass walk away with the titles.
I feel you. I would prefer the club to win and retain, but I'm not going to complain if the Kentucky Colonel that is Enzo and the monster of a man that is Cass win. That's fine. I could take it or leave it, but I want Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows to win, but it's probably going to be Enzo and Cassidy.
Right. And I guess this brings us to Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman.
I'm afraid that they're going to have Roman Reigns win. Roman Reigns? I'm afraid they're going to have Roman Reigns. Damn it, I did it again.
What's going to happen?
Those guys. I'm afraid they're going to have Roman Reigns win over Braun Strowman, because I can't talk right now. I'd rather see Braun Strowman win. God, now I'm switching R's and W's. I'd rather see Braun win. If I just growl it, it'll come out. I'd rather see Braun win than Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns keeps trying and have this build to something bigger at a bigger pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I definitely would rather have Braun Strowman win over Roman Reigns, and I believe that would be the popular choice, and to have them their feud climax at WrestleMania. But I'm kind of starting to believe that Roman Reigns is going to win, just because of the build up to the match. I hope not, because that would be. I'm actually kind of liking this feud a little bit. I never thought I'd say this when it first, started being obvious this is where they were going. But I'm kind of liking this feud a little bit. I mean, it makes Roman feel human, and it makes Braun look not so human. But
yeah, makes him look like a monster.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Strowman wins.
Okay, I like it. All right. Well, that probably brings us to what is probably going to be second main. We got the women's champion, Bayley, versus the former women's champion, the Queen, Charlotte. Who you got?
I'm going to have to go Charlotte wins this. And I don't want to see it. I don't want to see this title switch hands so much. I feel like it waters down the importance of the title. But I don't see the WWE allowing Charlotte's streak to end at Fastlane. Now, notice I said I believe Charlotte's going to win, but I don't believe Charlotte will walk out as women's champion.
Yep. Just rewind what we said earlier, basically. Rewind what we said earlier. Charlotte wins, but Bayley retains. That's where I see that going.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know that Bayley's going to have the champion's advantage, I believe. I don't think it's a Falls Count Anywhere match.
No, it's singles.
Yeah, I think it's just a regular match. So Bayley retains, but Charlotte wins from some kind of shenanigans. And that probably brings us to the main event of Fastlane. You've got the World Heavyweight Champion, or the Raw Champion, or whatever they're calling it this week, or the WWE Universal Champion, because they've changed the name about several times throughout the thing. Not officially, but they keep changing the name as they talk about it. Kevin Owens versus everybody's favorite, Goldberg.
Yeah, this is one that I have been grappling with for some time now.
Just like Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I started out believing that, Kevin Owens was going to somehow keep his title through nefarious means. Then I was thinking maybe they'll put the title on Goldberg. But with the pay-per-view coming up this week, I'm just going to put my money on Kevin Owens retaining. I believe they've got something here as far as the evolution of Kevin Owens angle, and I kind of like it. And I don't think they are going to slow down his momentum at this point. I don't see any good. I don't see how that could be any good for Kevin Owens, and I don't see how Goldberg taking the title into WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar is going to be good for Goldberg. Him having that title around his waist going into WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar is just going to make the expectations for that match ridiculously high. And I don't think we need that, especially considering how their last match at a WrestleMania went.
Yeah.
But I think Kevin Owens retains here. I don't know how he's going to do it, because there's no way in hell they're going to let him pin Goldberg. But I would almost beg that something is going to happen to where Goldberg loses the title. Maybe Brock interferes. Kind of hope not, because you hate seeing that kind of ending in a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say Kevin Owens retains.
Okay. Yeah. I would much rather see Kevin Owens retain, but we know that Vince McMahon is as thick as Becky Lynch's thighs. So he's probably not going to listen to what the fans are thinking about this, because he thinks that a match like that has to have title implications. We've seen that in the past, so he's probably gonna put it on Goldberg. Goldberg's gonna walk away with the strap. I'd rather see Kevin Owens win, and I think I'd like to see Kevin Owens win, not necessarily in a nefarious manner, but maybe something like everyone else's other favorite Canadian that's not Sami Zayn, because everybody's favorite Canadian is Sami Zayn, but everybody's other favorite Canadian that is Bret Hart, taking out Goldberg in some way that Bret Hart took out Goldberg. Hopefully
Before
not.
Goldberg took him out.
Yeah. So, like, we see Kevin Owens no-selling something because he's wearing body armor versus Roman Reigns wearing body armor and getting broken ribs and crap. Because maybe Kevin Owens will go and actually buy body armor from the, like, armor store instead of going to, like, an armory, instead of going to Walmart and buying, like, knight armor that Roman Reigns buys. And he'll take out some Goldberg.
Yeah, I think it's almost a given that the ending of this match, one way or the other, is going to advance the outside storyline in these. I mean, the ending's either going to promote the Brock Lesnar Goldberg match, or the ending's going to somehow promote the upcoming match. I'm assuming we'll have is Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, but there's going to be something to the ending of this match that pushes other storylines along. Triple
H appears out of nowhere, says, "I like that thing you said about the evolution. I'm gonna start a team called Evolution 2.0 because I invented evolution. That's what's gonna happen."
Okay. All right. So I guess that takes us out of Fastlane and into the.
That's Fastlaning.
Oh, okay. Anyways, that brings us into the rumors section. I'll be frank with you. The majority of the rumors that I saw this week.
Can I be Jimmy?
Sure. The majority of the rumors I read about this week, we pretty much already talked about. I mean, whether it be Kurt Angle being the GM, or the potential of them bringing back Kelly, or the Big Show and Shaq not going down. All the rumors I saw, we've already talked about. So, did you see anything new?
About Kurt Angle, he apparently said in some statement to, I don't know if it was The Torch or Illustrated or something, that he was going to come back as an in-ring competitor. Now, this could be just a poor phrasing or a poor reporting of something, but that he was more likely to come back as an in-ring competitor and would not want to be somebody that sat behind a desk in any way, shape, or form. So that might, I know there's the rumor about him maybe replacing Mick Foley, but I don't know. With that statement, it sounds like he would not be replacing Mick Foley in any way, unless he's going to be a fighting GM or something, which would be more than awkward. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other thing that I saw was, well, everybody saw Beth Phoenix is going into the Hall of Fame,
Congratulations
but,
to her.
oh yeah, she's probably one of the best technical women's wrestlers of that era. I mean, and anybody that wants to disagree with me, I mean, I guess you can down in the comments. I ain't gonna fight you, but I mean,
I might.
I know. It sounds like I was gonna say that, but I ain't gonna fight you. But the rest of the internet wants to fight WWE over it because everybody's favorite, the ninth wonder of the world, China, is not going into the Hall of Fame yet, and Beth Phoenix is going in before her, and most people would not put Beth Phoenix in before China, and it's, I mean, yeah, I hate that. I'd rather see her in the Hall of Fame, because let's be honest, you've been on the internet. You watched the video. Who hasn't watched those videos? I mean, come on. I mean, JBL is probably watching those videos right now. Let's be honest.
Probably.
Let's be honest. But
it's just JBL, and that's what he does.
Exactly. Don't worry about it. Nobody wins. Definitely not China in this case, though. It makes it hurt. I enjoyed China, and she's more memorable than Beth Phoenix. I'm just gonna throw that out there. She was more memorable than Beth Phoenix. I like Beth Phoenix, but at the same time, China was more memorable.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, in the words, really?
I didn't even mean to make that a pun.
Really?
Oh my god. It's a sticky situation.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing. But in the words of some ESPN commentators who I cannot remember their name, come on, man. I mean, China definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the fact that it's taken her so long, it's clearly political.
Well, yeah.
And just, I mean, she passed away. Give her some credit. I mean, give her some credit. I mean, I'm don't get me wrong. Beth Phoenix was a great in-ring tactician, and she's definitely Hall of Fame worthy. But just putting her in before China is just a smack in the face. It's just disrespectful. But
yeah,
that's so disrespectful.
I don't know if I'd call it disrespectful, but it does kind of feel like a little bit of a, not necessarily a full slap in the face, but a little bit of something like that, but not necessarily a full slap in the face. But I understand. It is what it is. It'll eventually happen once there's enough space in between everything that she is, all of the things, and the memory of the things that she was previously.
I mean, time heals all wounds. I mean,
true.
Eventually she'll be in, no doubt.
Yep. Yes, sir. And then the other rumors, I don't know, I guess that's probably it for anything I've got written down. Unless all of a sudden you found something random. I mean,
Not this time. But, so I guess that.
So what do you want to watch this week?
This week, I want to watch Tennessee win a basketball game, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, that's never going to happen.
But,
unfortunately.
Yeah, lost to Vandy.
I know. It's awesome.
Shut up. I will burn your... man. I guess the thing for me to watch this week, as far as the storyline goes, is this whole Bray Wyatt Randy Orton deal. I mean,
okay.
It's going to be interesting just to see how the WWE comes up with a way, which I guess we already kind of know that how it's going to happen. We're going to have Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton's going to win. But just to see how the whole Wyatt situation fleshes out. I mean, there's still some outlying situations there. I mean, is Luke Harper going to get sucked back into Bray Wyatt's trap? And when Eric Rowan gets back, are we just going to have a new Wyatt family all over again? Because we know WWE doesn't care to do that. Or is this just finally a complete implosion of the Wyatt family, all thanks to Randy Orton, who gave up his title shot, then decided to backstab Bray Wyatt and have to fight for his title shot again? But I just think this is something to keep an eye on, especially on the road to WrestleMania.
Okay. What about storyline that was good this week? This past week.
That kind of was my storyline to watch.
I mean, so your storyline that was the best this week and for next week is the same. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Pretty much.
Gotcha. I mean, the story that I think you should probably be checking out on is TNA. Go to TNA, see what's going to happen on Thursday. I mean, there's still a lot of questions up in the air with all these releasings, all these things that are going on over there. It's time to go watch TNA, see what's going to happen on Thursday, and pay attention, because something big's about to happen. Don't know what. Maybe they're going to move all of their operations from Orlando and all of their business plans from Nashville to Toronto. I have no idea. Maybe that's all they're going to say. But I don't know. They've been building up like something big's going to happen, and something big is going to happen. And then for my match of the week and for my story and for what probably should have been watching this past week, I don't know, the whole big building into the Lashley Burnett thing, the whole thing that's been building into this. That's probably my match of the week too. So if you want more of a recap of that match, run it back to the beginning and just listen to the beginning again. You got anything about a match of the week?
You pretty much just said it.
I like it.
Lashley Barnett was a great match, terrific match. And if you want to know more about it, just zoom back to the beginning of the episode and you'll hear it.
You know, it's like the Cupid Shuffle. That's not Cupid Shuffle. I was thinking the Electric Slide where it says reverse, reverse. So who put in the best performance this week?
The best performance of the week. We'll go to, and I've said this multiple times, and I can't help it because he's just been doing such great work on the mic. I'm going with Kevin Owens. I mean, his promo, not only this week, but last week, has made me actually want to watch Kevin Owens versus Bill Goldberg. I mean, he sold it to the fact where you're like, it should be a good match. I mean, he has brought the story to the match, and he's basically done it on his own. I mean, love Goldberg, not the best promoter in the world.
That's true.
So I'm going to give it to Kevin Owens for having the ability to talk up a match without even having to lay a finger on Goldberg.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to go with Senor Benjamin and his tasering the people to get the belts. No, I kid. I'm not gonna say Senor Benjamin. I don't know. Probably the fighter of the week. I'm probably gonna have to go with the Raw, the main storyline girls on the Raw Women's Division as the best fighters of the week. Because it's kind of hard for me to pick between those, and I feel like that's the thing that I'm most interested in right now. Not because they're pretty ladies, but
nice.
Because I like what's going on with Bayley, and I like what's going on with Charlotte, and even without it being a match, because I wouldn't call it my favorite match of the week, but the storytelling of the people and the fighting that they did within the match really did hit home what's the storyline that's going on, and it broke the storyline. It intertwines a lot of things and breaks a lot of things at the same time. And I'd probably go with that. So that's where I'll leave this one. Any other closing remarks, Mr. Cloud?
All I got to say is hit us up on Twitter at SS Press Podcast. Let us know how you felt about the show. Send us any kind of questions, any kind of compliments, just any of that stuff. Just hit us in line at SS Press Podcast, or you can follow us on our YouTube channel, which is the Shooting Star Press.
I mean, yeah, it pops right up. It really does. Along with Brock Lesnar almost breaking his neck. But seeing as how most of you are probably listening to us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow all our links in the description below, and do all of the things. And I guess we'll see you on the flip flop. Deuces.